How you doing, everyone? It's about a week and a half before SHOT Show 2017, and today I want to talk to you about Geissele Automatics and ALG Defense's new products for 2017. SHOT Show is a great venue. It's the time when all industry releases new things, and we work very hard to have some exciting things at every SHOT Show. So first, I'll talk about ALG Defenses and some of its new things. One of the things you'll see on the table there is quadruple zero very thin grease. This is a very fine grease that's designed for firearms, and what it is it will keep your lubrication on the slide rails and on different points, and it won't run off. It's extremely thin, it will not gum up, it has a lot of advantages. So come on by, we'll have some sample packs for everybody for free. So come on by and get a sample of this. ALG Defense this year also has a trigger for the IWI Geissele, and that's this guy right here. And if you're aware of the triggers for the AK-47 platform, this is very similar. This is a performance single stage trigger, approximately 3 pounds or so. It's a wonderful trigger, very economical. For Geissele, we have our new SSP, Super Speed Precision Trigger. This is Geissele's first single-stage trigger in the market. We're known for two-stage triggers and combat two-stage triggers, but this is our first single-stage. It's approximately 3.5 pounds, and it has a beautiful crisp break. I think you guys are really going to like it. We'll have this out on our table, and we'll also have it on range day. This is the SSP. We also have a couple of new rails. This is the Mark 13. What this guy is, this is a very, very slim rail, and it's lighter than our current Mark 4, which it's styled after. You'll notice the cutouts in this guy and how slim it is. The total weight of this rail with all its hardware and its barrel nut is 12.8 ounces. Now, if you're comparing it to a rail that uses a stock barrel nut, you got to pull off about 1.3 ounces. So the effective weight of this guy, if you're comparing it to one that goes onto a stock barrel nut, is about 11.5 ounces. It's a wonderful, smooth profile, really nice. It has a Picatinny rails up front, continuous Picatinny along the top. It has a slightly different barrel nut than what the Mark IV uses. You'll notice the crankshafted bolts on here, and we'll have this out on guns and out on the table. Come and take a look at it. Now, we have two new companies here under the Geissele umbrella, and these are brand new. And the first one is called NCC, Nano Composite Coatings. You may have seen some of this on Instagram and on Facebook, where we've shared the logos for these companies. And Nano Composite Coatings is a company that is going to be doing coatings for Geissele products and also for industry. And the coating that it uses is in the family of coatings that are known as Picatinny DSL. The U.S. Army has been working on a DSL coating, durable solid lubricant, for about the last decade. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to produce a coating where the use of CLP is eliminated or greatly reduced. And this coating that the U.S. Army has worked on actually works. You've seen a lot of coatings out there, you know, for guns and for parts on the bolt carrier and things like that. And this guy really does work. And the coating that NCC is going to put on is called Nano Weapon. And Nano Weapon isn't just one thing, it's a complete family of things. And it's in the family of the Picatinny DSL. For contractual and legal obligations, I cannot say that it is exactly Picatinny DSL, but it is in the family. And what this is, it's a composite coating, which means there can be several layers made up of different compositions that are put on the part that build up different properties. And the outside layer is an amorphous diamond. You may have heard of DLC coatings, diamond-like carbon coatings. This is not like that because the diamond precursor, what the diamond is made from, is completely different from the gaseous diamond precursors that DLC uses. This coating is amorphous, which means it has a structure like glass. It does not have a crystalline structure to it. It is very hard. If you convert its hardness to Rockwell, which we're all familiar with, this is approximately 82 Rockwell. A knife blade runs at about 60 Rockwell. The surface of an M4 bolt is in the neighborhood of about 58 Rockwell. A spring is about 45. This is 82. Once you get to 60 Rockwell, each point higher or lower makes a very big difference. In the spring range, which is about 44 to 48 Rockwell, a point one way or the other doesn't matter too much. When you get up to 60, it makes a huge difference. 82 Rockwell is an order of magnitude higher. U.S. Army has had great success with their coating, and Geissele is going to be providing this coating on our products and on industry's products. And what I have here is I have a bolt carrier that is coated with this nano weapon coating. This bolt carrier has been in a cyclic tester that we use for quality assurance. Basically, we take triggers and we run them in order to see different characteristics of them, how the sears wear, verify the composition of the alloy. So the final thing that we do in our QA process is we take sample triggers and we run them. Generally, we've had triggers that we've run to 250,000 cycles. This bolt carrier has been in our cyclic tester for 450,000 simulated rounds. And if you look at this guy right here, you'll notice the very edges right here, the top layer has come off the coating. You'll notice the rest of this, it's not even marked. Look underneath it. If you look at a normal bolt carrier, okay, within a couple hundred rounds, this phosphate finish has come off completely. If you look at this guy, you can just barely see some dusting in that finish from where the hammer rubs on this. And this hammer has rubbed on this thing 450,000 times. Now, ignore this thing down here. You see this giant, this giant divot here. Basically, our cyclic tester runs at 600 rounds a minute. It runs like an automatic weapon. And it's extremely hard on the components, and firing pin heads snap off on this thing, on a regular basis. So you have to have somebody monitoring it, and when a firing pin breaks, the hammer goes in and smashes into the bolt carrier. So you see what that has. That's because the hammer is smashed into that thing thousands of times. But if you look on this right here, you can hardly see that coating has worn off. I think that this coating, nano weapon, is going to be the future of firearms coatings. It has all the combinations for a firearm with its total loss lubrication system, where it's not bathed in oil like an automobile engine. It's extremely hard, it's extremely corrosion resistant, it's black. It does a great job. So come on by the booth, and we'll have all kinds of samples of parts, including some sample parts that we have tested to failure, and you can see how this coating compares to an uncoated part, to hard chrome, to nitride, and to nickel Teflon. And you can see how nano weapon compares to all these guys. You might have seen a logo out on Instagram that kind of looks like a pyramid, all right? And the name of that company that logo belongs to is Abraham and Moses Survival Equipment. And what this company is it's a company that I've formed so that me and my two boys, Abraham and Moses, can have something that we can work and they can learn business together. And the first thing that this company has made is that right here. That is the Lou Goodman Special Operations Combat Knife. Lou Goodman's a good friend of mine. He's a special operations operator, retired now, and he has many years in the special operations community. And this company got started when my oldest son, Abraham, at the time he was 8 years old, he asked me if we could make a knife together. And I said, well, we could do that, but how would you like to have a company that made knives and you can learn business and how to sell these things and take care of the customer? He was all for it. So that's how A&M was formed. And when I told my customers about it, my military customers, they said to me, they're like, you know, Lou Goodman's a master knife maker. Why don't you talk to him and he might have some advice for you. And it wasn't just advice that Lou gave me. We formed a partnership here so that we are making a knife that is Lou's design. And Lou here has taken everything that he's learned as a special operations operator and made a knife for the operator. The first thing that this knife has is the material. This steel is Carpenter PD1. Carpenter Steel is a steel mill just 45 minutes from us. They've been in business 127 years, and their specialty is high-end alloys. They are the first ones who've made steel for armor-piercing shells. They did a tremendous amount during the World Wars. They are well known in the tool-making industry for all their tooling alloys, and now they make a lot of very good steels for like medical implants. PD1 stands for Punch Die 1, and they have all these designations for steels. You may have heard of Carpenter 158. That is the military specified steel for the bolt in the M4 carbine. This steel has some unique properties. It is ductile at approximately 60 Rockwell. 60 Rockwell is a transition point. Anything at 60 and above is generally will fail completely by brittle fracture. In other words, it will not distort, it will just snap and break. As you start going below 60 Rockwell, you start getting more of a ductile behavior. This steel has ductility at 60 Rockwell. And what we do with this is it's differentially hardened. And what that means is we take the knife, we harden it, we triple temper the steel. And then we go into the blade right here, and this is brought up in hardness to 60 to 62 Rockwell. So the cutting edge is very hard, where the rest of the steel is very ductile. And then it's tempered 3 times again. So it gets a total of 6 tempers to this steel. And with this, you can see what you can do with it. You can bend it like this, okay? Even though the edge of the blade is extremely sharp. You also notice this little notch in the blade. That, I'll show you in a little bit what that's for. You notice the ricasso here. This is something that Lou wanted for getting your finger in there to do fine work. It needed a hilt, because as Lou termed it, when there's blood on your hands and you go to stab something, you do not want your hand to run over the edge and cut yourself. You needed that. The ricasso also doesn't have any type of a notch in it, because Lou, with his knowledge of these things, said, you know, if you have to stab someone, a notch in there can get caught on a rib cage and you're not going to be able to pull your knife out of the guy. I think you'll really like this knife. And there's another feature to this thing. Geissele has designed the sheath of the future for it. One thing I've never liked about knives, and it's a rare one that has a good sheath. And so what we did is we put our expertise in working in metal, and we designed this sheath right here. It's entirely made out of 7075 T6 aluminum, except for the liner inside, which is going to be nylon. As you notice, you hear that snap? It doesn't come out until you push this button, and then the blade will come out of here. So for a special operator, he can have this on his vest. The handle is completely exposed. The knife blade will not come out. The harder you pull, the harder it latches. And all it takes is a push of the button and the knife will come out. The sheath is made from this block of aluminum. It's approximately 2 pounds of aluminum. And this is what the top cover of the sheath looks like. 1.8 ounces. It goes from about 2 pounds to 1.8 ounces in our 5-axis milling machines here. And you can see all the tool marks and how our cutter has gone all over this thing in order to make the cover. The back is also 7075 T6 aluminum. And you'll notice this plate in the back. This is nitrided stainless steel. This sheath comes with 2 different plates. This one that you can put a molly strap in so you can strap it to your vest. It also comes with one where it'll go on a belt sheath with an adjustment for the width of your belt, so you get a nice tight fit of this. And this is all replaceable. And it also comes with these holes and slots so it can be died down to a pack or to equipment. This is the sheath of the future, and this is the Lou Goodman Special Operations Combat Knife. And you know, one thing Lou wanted was, he said, you know, some guys might not want it to lock in place. This is a friction lock. This lock right here is replaceable. Every knife is going to, and sheath is going to come with 2 locks. This pin is spring loaded. You pop it out with a paper clip. You can put it either in the locking sheath or the detent one, and you can vary how much the detent holds the knife in by replacing these springs underneath it. There's 3 springs, and you can run it with 1 spring, 2 springs, or 3 springs. And if you don't want it to lock, you can do this. A&M is also going to have its first knife called the number 1. This is a hunting knife. This is designed with a G10 handle. Fits your hand very well. The knife material underneath it, the blade, has been lightened underneath the handle. It has very good balance. This is going to come with a leather sheath. This one here is manufactured from PD1 also, but we're going to have different stainless steels that the number 1 is going to have. And all these are going to be on our booth here at SHOT Show, so you can come and see them. And Lou's also going to be there. And Lou's a master knifesmith, and he would love to talk to you about his knife and about the products that A&M have. So come by. Now, we're going to have a live stream video on Friday, and just excuse me while I read this, on Friday, January 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? Friday the 13th, 8 p.m. EST. And this is going to take place on Instagram at Geissele and on Facebook.com/Geissele Automatics. I'm going to go over in a live broadcast these products right here, and you're going to be able to ask questions of me, and I'll be able to answer them live at that time. So if you have any questions about this stuff and you want some more information about it, you can ask me during this live broadcast. And we're also going to go over all the really cool giveaways and different types of things that Geissele's going to do at SHOT Show. It's going to be awesome. We really try to make our booth the place to come with some cool giveaways and things like that. And I'm going to save that for Friday when I tell you about all the neat stuff that we're going to be doing. So thanks for watching, and I look to see you in Las Vegas.